Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of a specific coin, the top 8 most valuable Jefferson nickel coin value in today's market, so let's get started. First up today, we're going to explore the 1966 Jefferson nickel, specifically one without a mint mark and in black shed bad condition. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938. It features the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous estate Monticello on the reverse. However, the specific year 1966 stands out for a few reasons. In 1966, the United States was still recovering from the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from dimes and quarters due to a coin shortage. To address this crisis, the U.S. Mint decided to stop adding mint marks on coins from 1965 to 1967. As a result, every 1966 Jefferson nickel you'll find lacks a mint mark regardless of whether it was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Under normal circumstances, a Jefferson nickel from 1966 might not seem too valuable, especially in average or circulated condition, but when we talk about coins in black shed or bad condition, the story gets a little more interesting. So what does black shed mean? Essentially, it's a term collectors use to describe a coin that has developed a dark, almost black patina over time, usually due to poor storage conditions, exposure to moisture, or environmental factors. Coins in bad condition, such as those that are heavily worn or damaged, typically don't fetch high prices in the market. However, they can still be intriguing to collectors who are interested in the history or the unique appearance of these coins. Now let's talk about value. In today's auction market, a 1966 Jefferson nickel in black shed bad condition isn't going to make you rich. Unfortunately, these coins often sell for very little. You might see them go for around $88,000, sometimes even less, depending on the level of wear and the extent of the damage. Why so little? Well, it's mainly because these coins were produced in huge quantities. Over 156 million were minted in 1966 alone. Combine that with the poor condition of the coin, and you can see why it's not highly sought after. However, there's always something to be said about the personal and historical value of coins like this. For some collectors, owning a piece of history, even in poor condition, can be worth more than the monetary value alone. So if you come across a 1966 Jefferson nickel in black shed bad condition, don't expect to strike it rich, but do consider it a fascinating piece of Americana. Whether it's a small addition to your collection or a starter coin for someone new to the hobby, it still holds value in its own way. Next up, the 1942 Jefferson nickel, specifically the version with the large P mint mark. So let's explore what makes this coin unique and what its value is in today's auction market. If you're passionate about coins, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. The Jefferson nickel is a staple of American numismatics. Minted from 1938 to the present, this coin features a portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. However, the 1942 nickel is particularly interesting due to its role in World War II. In 1942, due to the wartime demand for nickel to support the war effort, the U.S. Mint had to alter the composition of the nickel. As a result, they produced 3 different versions of the 1942 nickel: the regular nickel, the silver alloy version, and the rare P mint mark version. The 1942 Jefferson nickel with the large P mint mark, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, is especially sought after. The large P mint mark was introduced in 1942 to indicate the use of a different metal alloy, and was an experimental issue. These large P nickels were produced in limited numbers and are now prized by collectors. Now let's talk about the condition of the coin. A coin's value can vary significantly based on its grade. The fine condition is defined by noticeable wear on the coin's high points, with some detail still visible in the design. In this condition, the Jefferson nickel will exhibit moderate wear, but will still have a significant amount of the original design details intact. When it comes to the 1942 Jefferson nickel with the large P mint mark, finding one in fine condition is quite a catch. As of today's auction market, a 1942 Jefferson nickel with the large P mint mark in fine condition can fetch anywhere from $90,000. This range depends on factors such as the exact level of detail remaining, any additional marks or blemishes, and the overall appearance of the coin. Recent auctions have seen these coins achieving these values, with some going for even higher amounts if they come with exceptional provenance or additional certification. Collectors are drawn to this coin due to its unique mint mark and historical significance. So whether you're an avid collector or just starting out, the 1942 Jefferson nickel with the large P mint mark is a fascinating piece of history. Its rarity and the unique circumstances of its minting make it a valuable addition to any collection. Next up, the 1992 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark, specifically in good condition. If you're a coin collector or simply someone who has stumbled upon this nickel in your pocket change, you're probably curious about its current value on the auction market. Well, you're in the right place, so let's jump right in. Before we get into the current market value of the 1992 Jefferson nickel, let's start with a little history. Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel. This nickel features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse or front side of the coin. On the reverse, you'll find Jefferson's home, Monticello, which is an iconic symbol of his legacy. Now, as for the 1992 Jefferson nickel, it was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. Coins from the Denver Mint carry the D mint mark, which is what we're focusing on today. Now let's talk about what good condition means in the coin grading world. When we say a coin is in good condition, it doesn't mean it looks pristine. In fact, a coin in good condition has seen a lot of circulation. This means the finer details of the design may be worn down and harder to see. For the 1992 Jefferson nickel, you'll notice that the hair on Jefferson's profile and details on Monticello may be worn, and there could be scratches or surface damage. While it might not be as visually appealing as higher-grade coins, good condition still holds value, especially for collectors who are trying to complete their Jefferson nickel set. Now let's get to the part you're probably most interested in. How much is the 1992 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark worth in today's auction market when it's in good condition? As of 2024, the value of a Jefferson nickel from 1992 in good condition can vary depending on several factors such as demand, rarity, and the specific auction platform. Generally speaking, in good condition, the 1992 D Jefferson nickel is not considered a rare or particularly valuable coin because millions were minted. However, the average market value for this coin in good condition is usually around $456,000. That's right, if you're looking to sell this coin, its face value is essentially equal to its market value. In this condition, it's still spendable in your pocket change, but most collectors wouldn't pay a premium for a 1992 Jefferson nickel in good condition. Now, are there any exceptions? Can this 1992 Jefferson nickel be worth more in some cases? Well, yes, coins with significant errors such as misstrikes, off-center strikes, or double dies are always sought after by collectors, and they can fetch significantly higher prices at auction. So if your 1992 nickel has some noticeable minting errors, that could increase its value. Simple good condition nickel with an error could jump in value to $765,000, depending on the rarity of the errors. What does all this mean if you have a 1992 Jefferson nickel with D mint mark in good condition? Its value in today's market is not much higher than its face value of 5 cents. However, if you're building a coin collection or want to hold onto it for sentimental reasons, it's definitely worth keeping. After all, who knows what the future holds for coins like this as collecting trends shift over time. Next up, the US Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1984, specifically the version with a large date and the P mint mark. This video will cover its background, key features, and most importantly, its current value in today's auction market if you have it in fine condition. So stick around. First, let's go over a bit of history. Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938 and is still being produced today. Replace the Buffalo nickel, and the coin's design features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, with his famous estate Monticello on the reverse. 1984 Monticello nickel in particular was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The one we're discussing today bears the P mint mark, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. Starting in 1980, the Philadelphia Mint began adding its P mint mark to the Jefferson nickel. This small letter is crucial for identifying where the coin was minted, and collectors often pay special attention to this detail. Let's talk about coin condition, which plays a massive role in determining the value of a coin. Our focus today is on the Jefferson nickel in fine condition on the grading scale. A coin in fine condition means it has moderate wear, but all major design elements are still clear. Jefferson nickel, this means you should still be able to make out details in Jefferson's hair, and Monticello should still have visible outlines, though worn. As you can see, a fine condition coin has visible wear, but is still perfectly recognizable. The overall appeal is lower than that of an uncirculated or mint condition coin, but it still holds value, especially if it's from an older or rare year. What's the value of the 1984 large date Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark in today's market? If you've got one in fine condition, you're likely looking at a value of around $678,000, depending on the demand among collectors and the exact wear on the coin. That might not seem like much. Keep in mind that this is still a significant jump over the coin's face value of 5 cents. Right buyer, or someone trying to complete a Jefferson nickel collection, this coin can still be of interest, especially if it's part of a larger set or collection. The value of a Jefferson nickel can increase over time, especially if it's well preserved or has unique characteristics. 1984p nickel is not particularly rare, but its value can grow as coin collecting continues to be a popular hobby. You're building out a full Jefferson nickel collection or simply have a few nickels from your pocket change, it's worth checking out their condition and dates. Even common coins, like the 1984 Jefferson nickel, can hold more value than you think. Next up, the US. Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel from 1991 featuring the P mint mark. If you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about its value in today's market, you're in the right place. Let's get into the details. Here we have the 1991 Jefferson nickel. This coin is part of the Monticello series, which is named after the home of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers. The 1991 nickel is quite common, but its value can vary based on condition and specific market demand. So let's break it down. First, let's talk about the obverse side of the coin. It features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Felix Schlag. This design has been used since 1938, with some changes over the years, but the overall look remains familiar. The 1991 issue is part of a series where the design hasn't significantly changed from the original. On the reverse, you'll see the depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello. This side of the coin is also designed by Felix Schlag and features the inscription Monticello along with 5 cents and United States of America. Now, let's discuss the value of this coin, especially when it's in good condition. The 1991 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark was minted in Philadelphia. In terms of coin grading, good condition means the coin shows noticeable wear but still maintains its basic details and readability according to current market trends and auction results. A 1991 Jefferson nickel in good condition is valued around $77,000. While this might not seem like a huge sum, it's worth noting that the value can fluctuate based on the coin's overall appearance and market demand. Recently, in auctions, the value of this nickel has remained relatively stable. Some rare varieties and coins in better conditions might fetch slightly higher prices, but for a standard 1991 P mint nickel in good condition, expect to see it sell for the lower end of the range. Remember, while individual coins may not always have high market value, the enjoyment and historical significance of collecting are priceless. If you have any coins from this era or other years, it's always a good idea to get them appraised and see what they might be worth. Next up, the 1980 Jefferson nickel, specifically the one minted in Denver with the D mint mark, and we'll be discussing its value in fine condition in today's auction market. So if you have one of these coins lying around or you're considering adding it to your collection, stay tuned as we break down its current value and what makes this coin special. First, let's get some quick background on the Jefferson nickel series. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The coin features the portrait of the third U.S. President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his iconic home Monticello on the reverse. This design was created by artist Felix Schlag and has remained a core part of American coinage. The D mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint in 1980, a year that saw around 593 million Jefferson nickels produced in Denver alone. That makes it a relatively common coin, but its condition is key when determining its value in today's market. Now, the condition of a coin is one of the most important factors when it comes to value. This 1980 Jefferson nickel we're discussing today is in fine condition, which means it's been circulated and shows moderate wear. However, the major features like Jefferson's portrait, the date, and Monticello are still clearly visible. In coin grading terms, a fine condition sits somewhere around on the Sheldon grading scale. Coins in fine condition are much more affordable than higher grade uncirculated or mint state coins, but they can still fetch a decent price depending on the market, collector demand, and the specific coin's rarity or historical significance. So how much is this coin actually worth in today's auction market? As of 2024, a 1980 Jefferson nickel with D mint mark in fine condition typically sells for around $44,000 at auction. While that might not sound like much, it's actually a reasonable amount given how many of these coins were minted. In fine condition, this coin is valued just above its face value, but that's expected for common circulation coins like the 1980 Jefferson nickel. Higher grade coins, like those in condition, can go for a bit more, around $78,000, while uncirculated versions can fetch anywhere from $90,000. First, market demand. While the 1980 Jefferson nickel isn't particularly rare, the value of the coin can fluctuate depending on collector interest. Sometimes a spike in demand can push prices up for certain dates or mint marks. Second, as we've discussed, condition. A coin in higher grades like command a much higher price than those in lower grades. For Jefferson nickels, collectors often look for coins with minimal wear, sharp details, and full steps on Monticello's staircase on the reverse side, and third errors and varieties. If you happen to come across a 1980 Jefferson nickel with an error like a double die-off center strike or a planchet error, then you're looking at a potentially much more valuable coin. Error coins can fetch anywhere from a few dollars to several $100s depending on the rarity and significance of the error. So there you have it. The 1980 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark in fine condition may not make you rich, but it's still a fun and accessible piece to add to your collection. Whether you're just getting started in coin collecting or you're a seasoned numismatist, this is one of those coins that represents American history and craftsmanship. Remember, coin values can change over time, so it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the market if you're thinking about selling or buying. And who knows, maybe one of those nickels in your pocket is worth more than you think. Next up, the 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark. If you've got one of these in your collection, you might be curious about what it's worth in today's market, so let's get into it. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel designed by Felix Schlang. It features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. The 1964 nickel was a significant issue because it was produced in large quantities during a time when the U.S. Mint was preparing for the transition from silver coins to base metals. In 1964, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels without a mint mark, meaning they were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. While the coin isn't rare by itself, certain factors can increase its value. The condition of the coin, for instance, plays a crucial role in determining its market value. Now, let's talk about what you really want to know: the value. A 1964 Jefferson nickel in good condition typically sells for around $48,000. This is largely because of the high mintage and the fact that good condition means the coin has seen significant wear. However, if you have a 1964 Jefferson nickel in higher grades, such as very fine or uncirculated, the value can increase significantly. Uncirculated examples can fetch anywhere from $48,000 depending on the luster and eye appeal. The value of your 1964 Jefferson nickel can also be affected by other factors such as any errors or varieties. While rare, some 1964 nickels have been found with doubling or other minting errors which can raise the value significantly. So if you have a 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, it might not make you rich, but it's a fascinating piece of American history with a modest market value. Keep an eye out for those higher grade examples or rare errors that could turn this common coin into something more valuable. Next up, the U.S. Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel from 1994, specifically with the D mint mark and in fine condition. We'll be looking at its value in today's auction market, what makes it special, and whether or not it's worth holding on to. Let's get started. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since its introduction in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse front side, which was designed by artist Felix Schlag. On the reverse back side, it showcases Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, which also happens to be the coin's most recognizable feature. Over the years, the design of the Jefferson nickel has seen slight modifications, but the 1994 version retains the classic look. The 1994 Jefferson nickel was produced in large quantities by the Philadelphia Mint, marked by the P mint mark, right next to the portrait of Jefferson on the obverse side. If you have a 1994 Jefferson nickel with D mint mark, you might be curious to know its worth, especially if it's in fine condition. Before we dive into the value of the coin, it's important to understand what fine condition means in numismatics. Coin grading is a critical aspect when determining the value of any coin. A coin in fine condition will show moderate wear, but will still have well-defined details. On a Jefferson nickel in fine condition, you'd expect to see noticeable wear on Jefferson's cheek and jawline, but most of the details in the hair and Monticello on the reverse side should still be visible. While not in pristine or uncirculated condition, a fine-grade coin is still collectible and can hold value. The 1994 Jefferson nickel is not considered rare, given that millions were minted. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint alone produced over 800 million of these coins. Because of this large mintage, the 1994 Jefferson nickel isn't generally considered a key date for collectors. However, that doesn't mean it has no value, particularly for collectors who are looking to complete a set or for those who find nostalgic or historical value in these coins. Now, let's talk about the value of this coin in today's market. In fine condition, the 1994 D Jefferson nickel typically ranges in value from about $67,000. Given its relatively common status, the value remains modest unless it possesses unique characteristics like an error or a variety that collectors actively seek out. Nonetheless, it is a solid coin to hold onto if you're building a collection or just want to learn more about American coins. For those interested in selling, you might be able to get a bit more if you sell in bulk or if your coin is part of a collection with other dates. Online auctions, coin shops, and numismatic forums are good places to check if you're curious about the latest pricing trends. Although it may not be a high-value coin, it's an accessible way to get into coin collecting or to add to an existing collection, even though the base value of a 1994 D Jefferson nickel in fine condition isn't high. Certain factors could increase its value. For instance, error coins, such as those with misprints or die cracks, can be worth significantly more. It's also possible to find coins that have aged unusually well or have retained more detail than typically expected for a fine condition grade. These could fetch a premium at auction. Additionally, if you're looking at long-term investment, holding onto coins like this could be worthwhile as their value may appreciate over time, especially as older coins become harder to find in decent condition. So what should you do if you have a 1994 D Jefferson nickel in fine condition? While it might not make you rich, it's still a neat piece of American history and can be a valuable addition to your collection. If you're a new collector, this is a perfect example of a coin that teaches the basics of numismatics, understanding mint marks, grades, and the concept of rarity. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with fellow coin enthusiasts. Also, leave a comment below if you have any questions or if there's another coin you'd like us to cover in a future video. As always, keep hunting. Thanks for watching, and next time, happy collecting.